A lot of good things. It was a good day for our guys. Really happy to see them have the opportunity to go out and celebrate, enjoy a win, and just go out and play like we know they're capable of playing. I thought it was a pretty complete game. We struggled a little early on defense, but I thought we really settled in. We had a great performance from Damon Hayes. I thought he really played fantastic. And Avery Young with a huge tackle on the goal line. I thought that really changed the game. On the offensive side of the ball, I thought that we played a pretty complete game. The last few weeks have been much better on third down, which has been a major issue for us the last few years. So to start to see some change in that, hopefully there's some things to build on and what we've done on offense. It looks like there's some growth, and hopefully we can keep doing that. There's been much better balance in who's the ball distribution, which is really important. I thought that we had the type of balance that we would look for in the run pass. Not necessarily in the number of passes, but in the I guess what we were able to get out of the 21 throws that we used. So in all, I thought that was all really good. And we're getting ready to play a pretty good Illinois team that seems to be on a roll and getting better. They've had a couple really big wins. So it'll be a great challenge for us, and I think the kids are excited to get back to work and play this next game.
You had the fourth down call early in that game against Liberty in your own territory. If it goes the other way, this game could have gone the other way. I'm curious about the aggressiveness of that decision, and if in general you find that with the way the team is, being more aggressive on downs like that, our strategy you have to take.
Well, I think obviously if you better believe you're going to get it, I guess, if you're going to do it. I think there's a time and place for everything. And to me, it was a little bit of a no-brainer. They went down and scored, and if we gave them the ball back and went down 14-0, I'm not sure that at that point our team would have been a great thing for them. So I thought, if we're gonna play to win, and we're gonna show them that we have confidence in them, and we're gonna go make some plays. And at the end of the game, we're involved with some of this analytics stuff, and when it came back, they kind of agreed with the call. Obviously there's a lot of risk involved anytime you go for it on fourth down your own end. But we liked the play that we had called. We liked the matchup, and we thought that we would get it, and thankfully we did, because if we didn't, like you said, it definitely could have been a major swing in momentum.
Just as a follow-up, is that something you've done in the past? Are you usually an aggressive guy in those situations?
I have been that way since the day I was born. That's the way I was raised. My father was that kind of guy as a coach. It was kind of the way I played, and as a coach, that's always been the way that I would prefer to play. I think that you should play to win, but it doesn't mean that you also have to recognize the game and how it's going. If it's going to be a low-scoring defensive game, you got to pump that ball. If you're not sure what it's going to be, and a lot of it depends on the situation. So over the years, I would say that I've made mistakes where I thought, this is what we would do the last 7 years, but this year we really aren't the type of team that can run, get this situation. So I think you live and learn that way, but I thought that was one we needed to go for.
Does any pressure come off your shoulders or the kids' shoulders now, having gotten back in the win column, or is there still, a sense of urgency trying to move things forward here, throughout this season?
I hope that there's a little stress relief from the players, but at the same time, there has to be a major sense of urgency going forward, and we've got 4 games left here to continue to improve, and that's kind of the thing I've been trying to say the whole time is, in the end, I want this team to be better in December than we were when I was put in this position, and this game is going to be a huge step towards that. They're a really good team, they're playing really good defense, and we need to be able to build off some of the stuff that we did, and I think that defensively we maybe started to get a little confidence in the second half, and we're able to make some plays, and hopefully there's some stuff that we can build off there too.
Coach, Johnny gets co-freshman player of the week in the Big Ten. Comment on that, and also the growth you've seen in him over the last few weeks.
Well, obviously I'm really happy for him and really proud of him. It's a tremendous accomplishment, because a couple of weeks ago people were saying that guy's not a quarterback, and the truth is that there's a major learning curve for those young guys, and there's some really tough defenses coming down the road. So I'm not certain that we're going to go out and throw for 300 yards or something next week, but I do think that the work he's put in practice, he's starting to get those reps. I kind of mentioned this on Saturday that I told the whole offense. So we've kind of just finished training camp. We just finished 4 weeks in getting these reps in this offense. So we started doing a better job of. He got us in the right plays, the right run checks, the right passes, the right reads, got the ball out of his hand faster. he just was a much better decision maker on Saturday, and hopefully that will continue to grow. But yeah, I mean, I'm really proud of him. Yeah, and I think that there's a chance for him to continue to develop that over the next 4 weeks. Absolutely.
Coach, along those lines, 2 questions. I'll ask you one at a time. One, you talk about that growth and learning there. Also, what about, you're the quarterback, you're the starter, you're the leader of the offense, even though you're not necessarily a captain per se. But how have you seen him embrace that leadership role of that offense? Because obviously going from, third string to being the starter is a big difference, and then you've got to command that respect for your teammates and all.
I think last week was probably the first time. I think the first week he was a little better at it because it just happened, like, hey, Thursday, we're walking to practice, like, hey, by the way, you're going to start today. So he was I don't think that he spent a lot of time overthinking it. And then I think for 2 weeks he probably spent a lot of time overthinking it, and he was trying to be somebody that he's not. He's trying to be like, a perfect quarterback. And I don't think that would be fair for any young guy. But last week, he went out and practiced and said, hey, I'm just going to cut it loose. I'm going to go make some plays. And he did that. And now I'm sure the guys around him have a little more confidence in, hey, yeah, we actually can go do this because it's a major piece to the puzzle. So I think that this past week he established himself much more as a leader in practice, and he played with much more confidence, and because of that, the performance was better.
And then the second part of that is, well documented now that he kind of came to you and said, listen, I have to do what I do. I'm trying to please everybody else. Can you just talk about having coached him and you guys won a championship together, what kind of quarterback you saw as compared to that guy that you saw that won a championship?
The guy that I saw on Saturday is the guy that I coached, for all those years. And, he is, I don't know that he's ever going to be a prototypical, Peyton Manning type of quarterback. He's not. But I think he can win a lot of games in college football with his skill set. You see a lot of guys, I always say over the years that guys like, Taysom Hill and Colin Klein and, Tim Tebow's obviously was a Heisman Trophy winner. That's, tough. Rarefied air to put someone in. I'm just saying that his skill set, I think lends well to college football. He's a big, strong, tough, athletic guy, and you kind of have to build your team around those skills. And one thing that we have is we have a bunch of different guys that we can put the ball in their hands and let them run. And some of our receivers will hopefully continue to emerge. We're finally able to get the ball to Bo a little bit. So some of those things made it easier for him to do that, and I think that was good. So I don't know that he's ever going to be that traditional drop back and throw it 50 times a game guy, but he at least showed on Saturday that he can make a bunch of throws, and he did.
With the season starting to wind down, do you have a plan mapped out about the redshirt guys and who's playing, who's not? How do you handle that?
Well, we evaluate it every week. There's not a lot of guys that are left in that. The freshmen. There are some guys that, they've been playing special teams and we'll just stop playing them. There's a couple other guys that, we'll kind of communicate with this week and next week about where they sit in that situation. There's a couple like sophomores and juniors that maybe have played in their 4 games and, we'll decide what we're going to do with them these next, the next week. So I think that we'll have a really much clearer picture. And there are some other guys that have not barely played at all, so they'll definitely get opportunities to play, at least on special teams. So it is something that we're constantly looking at, and I do think that if the situation were different and that some of those guys, we would just be like, hey, you got to play. But right now it's a little different. I think trying to do what's fair and right for those guys and their future and the future of the program.
Just to follow up, are there any specific guys that we haven't seen that we're going to see?
Oh boy, just some of the freshmen, I guess, on like special teams that guys that have played a little bit, like Brian Ubu and Mohamed Touré and maybe Zakudu and some of those guys. Christian Dremel played a couple snaps in the Minnesota game. He'll probably get some work in these next few weeks. We got some guys that are a little banged up at wide receiver. So that's mainly those guys, more younger guys.
And just about Illinois, this looks like it's a team that's about to turn the corner in a similar situation that Rutgers was in a few years ago, trying to fight its way out of the. Do you see any parallels there, and what do you think that they've done to get to that point?
Well, one, I think they play really hard. I do. I think that it's evident in all 3 phases that they're playing with great effort, and obviously, that even just a couple of weeks ago, people were saying, there really hasn't been any growth, and obviously then you go out and beat Wisconsin, and the truth is it's hard to win games in this league, and I think they're playing really hard. They've got really good speed. They've got talent. You know, they've changed a little bit offensively from last year, probably more, you know, based on the quarterback than anything. But, you know, they're entertaining to watch. I mean, you know, the last 2 games on defense, they've been pretty dominant. And, you know, they managed to get the points in the 30s, you know, almost every week. You know, last week they played in the monsoon, so that was tough. But, you know, I think they're a pretty good team.
Since the win the last couple of days, have you seen a difference in the team, confidence-wise?
I hope so, but, you know, the truth is, I don't think you'll really know until we get back to work and get on the field on Saturday, because, you know, it's great to win a game, but, you know, one of the big things I told the entire team is, you know, we've talked a lot about dealing with adversity, but now we got to talk about dealing with prosperity. You know, nothing changes. If anything, there should be almost, you know, to the earlier question, like a greater sense of urgency to go out and continue to improve. And, you know, that'll be the thing that I'll be really curious to see when we really hit the field on Tuesday. You know, how excited are we to go out and compete and try to build off Saturday?
Anything else, guys? Thanks, Coach.
Thanks,
guys.
Coach.